This video is sponsored by my OnlyFans, where I do my meaningful sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more. And hi guys, and welcome to the Empress Show with me, Gary. And we have a great topic for you guys today. And it is, well, basically, as you saw from the title, are there any good guys in the Warhammer 40k universe? So since I entered the Warhammer 40k community and world, since I was introduced to this whole another world, well, I was surprised by how people see it. And of course, there's several groups of people. There are these fans that are like the fanatical fans that are more like into the lore. They're almost like the scholars of the lore. And there are those people that just glance over it. They don't really think about it very deep. Those other people that they think that they know, but they don't know that much. So they're even like less into the actual meaning and lore and all of those things. And they're, well, basically the people that want to get into it, but it seems like it's very overwhelming to them, and they listen to the other groups of people that I mentioned about things that they want to know about the universe. And the impressions that are left from all of these interactions could be a bit wrong. So basically, when I entered Warhammer 40k, I learned right off the bat the opinions of a lot of people that try to give me like quick information, because I was entering the universe and they felt like they want to help, of course. So everyone was like, okay, so this and that and this guy, and it was very like simplified. But of course, being me, I wanted to deep dive into it and learn by myself and form my own views and my own opinion about everything that has to do with the 40k universe. So by this point, I'm like 2 years in, yeah, and I have a ton built up by this point. I have so many videos about 40k by this point, and I just love to get deep into it, to have these deep dives and to think about some of the things, to interpret what they really mean, and we just have some fun with that. And of course, the 40k lore is not really that consistent in some areas. In some areas is more consistent than not, but yeah, there are some things that, let's say, that they are more prevalent and better established than others. And by what is more prevalent, what is better established, we can have some conclusions, which can change in the future. But for this, for this time, we can have whatever viewpoints we can have, based on everything that we know so far. Of course, there's some things that I just don't know. 40k is too vast to catch up with for 2 years, but I am doing whatever I can each and every day by some capacity. So I had, these videos with, me reacting to Bricky, and he had like a very good breakdown of the 40k factions as well, and a lot of people that are new to 40k could use these types of videos to get into 40k, and this is what I also did. I used these, then I continued with Luton, 40k theories, One My Syndicate, Major Kill, of course, one of my favorites, and some other channels. Really, there are quite a few awesome 40k channels, and of course then I started to read the books and all of that, and I still heard this particular theme or well, whatever you can call it, repeating itself multiple times, that there are no good guys in 40k. Now, I have touched, on this topic before, so it's not like I never talked about this, but we're going to get a bit more dissective. Is that even a word? Yeah, we're just going to dig a little bit deeper and really think and compare things. And tomorrow, God willing, I can have probably, I hope that I will have an awesome conversation with my dear friend Kit from Chicago Reacts. Last week we had an awesome video on his channel about Star Wars, 40k, Star Trek. And yeah, he can be my guest, and we are going to discuss another topic that's similar to this one, and it's going to be amazing. But now it is, all by myself. So let's begin, guys. I have put here Gilliman and Angron. Why? Well, they're just very good representations of, both sides of the coin. And I'm going to, look at this in a bit like a generalization to a point, meaning that we're going to look at chaos, and we're going to look at the Imperium and some of the others, factions, and determine what is good and what's not, or is there, even such a thing. So many people think that there is no good in 40k at all, or just tiny little bit, and that there are no good guys in 40k. Well, when it comes to how other universes are written, like Star Wars, once again, or Star Trek, or whatever, really, most of the time there's like clear line between good and evil. And here, no. Here there is not. So this is one of the reasons that I like 40k, because of the depth and all the nuances, but also that doesn't mean that we can't actually make a very good distinguishing, Jesus Christ, a very good line to make actually the difference and to compare between good and evil, or whatever it is. So here is how I'm going to, here is how I basically see things. From the side of the Imperium, we have, well, the Emperor, obviously, and his Primarchs, his forces, all of those guys. And of course, from the other side, we have, well, the Xenos and Chaos, of course, Tyranids as well. So I don't know where to start, really. But let's say Tyranids are kind of like the separate factor. In 40k, they are a force on their own, literally, that has enough power to destroy everything, and kind of like to ruin Chaos's day as well. I mean, if they eat everything, Chaos should be a bit, weakened. Actually, that is a very, very good topic. One of my Primarchs, dear Clayton, you can record that if you like on Discord and send it. So yeah, I can have this topic in the future. But yeah, let's say for now that if the Tyranids eat everything, Chaos will be weakened, so basically the Tyranids win. But the question is, what is good, what is bad? Well, the Tyranids, in my opinion, they are inherently bad, which means that they're an organism. Their whole purpose is to destroy and ruin everyone's day, which means that they are intrusive species. That's a very hard word to say, especially coming from my original language, but yeah. And when you do something to others that they don't want, against their will, when you destroy something that has been created because of your own personal, whatever it is, personal greedy agenda. I mean, in this case, they just want to eat all matter, consume everything, all of that just to expand. They will probably be able to exist in a small part of the universe, but there will not be that many because the food is going to be either diminished. They can just, I don't know, eat themselves at some point. So they're not selfish. They're very selfish, and they will just destroy everything. So evil is basically something that does harm to others against their will. And by harm, this could mean, consuming, hurting, destroying, all of that. So by all of those, logical principles and principles of, in general, what is evil, what's not, Tyranids are evil. So when evil does evil to another evil, is it evil? That's another question. I mean, if the Tyranids eat everything, then if that leads to destruction of chaos, then what's gonna happen? Well, the evil force of the Tyranids destroying chaos, and evil destroying evil is good by itself, but then by destroying this evil, the Tyranids would have also destroyed the universe, which is also evil. So we will have double evil, which is very interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought about this actually before, but I'm glad that I did. So, double evil. Does this mean that the Tyranids are worse than chaos? I mean, to some extent, yeah, I kind of think so. Because at least chaos still wants someone to be alive, because this is the way that they develop and further expand their reach, basically their influence on everything, and their control, their possibility of future control. So it's all about the potential that is expanding to control more, to have more, to get more into the material universe and all of those things. And they don't have any issue with actually acquiring Primarchs, corrupting whoever they wish so they can achieve that. So they still require forces that do something, and they give them something in return. And they still have this mindset of an evil conqueror, basically. Whereas the Tyranids, they don't do things because they want to have a selfish thing. They just want to destroy and eat everything so they can make more of themselves. So it's literally like a parasitic organism that just destroys. There's not that much more to them. Well, they do develop, they do have the gene stealers, but I'm pretty sure that I digress by this point. I should just have a separate video about Tyranids and are they worse than chaos, I guess, because there's a lot to it, and I didn't expect I'm just going to discover this in this stream. But anyway, this is the beauty of live streaming, I guess, and live thinking. So, okay. So basically, chaos, like I've explained, it is a force that is doing basically the basic evil things. Each and every chaos god is working for themselves. Sometimes they work together, but it's all for not the benefit, for the expense of everyone else that serves them. Even though they give something, they also take something that's very substantial. That it may not mean that much to the person that they're taking from, because that person, or let's say Primarch, is already consumed by the way of viewing things, that it is better to be with chaos than with the emperor. So they're already brainwashed to think in this direction anyway. So they don't even realize what they're giving out of themselves, what they're giving up when they are joining chaos. But for chaos, it's just like win-win every time. There is not something that chaos will lose when they actually recruit someone. It is all for their benefit, but it's always for some kind of a price. That is how evil works in general. So it's not only in 40k. So we can say that by the way that all the chaos gods have built themselves, how they developed, evolved through the endless amounts of millennia, let's say, they are complete evil. I mean, some people cannot make the difference between, well, uh, between how the evil actually can manipulate and work, and they think that if chaos does something great, because the chaos gods have some positive qualities to them, then they're not inherently bad. But that's not the case, because they are using whatever positive qualities they have, once again, for the expense of the people, of whoever, It's like, if I have, let's say, I don't know, it's really hard to like make an analogy right away, but well, okay, let's say you have a very, very good and amazing physique, but you use it for bad. You use it to, well, to catfish someone. I mean, but your face is not that good or something, and you're just like showing your body, but then your face is really not that good. I mean, this is very surface level, analogy. But the point is that even if you have something good, the facade, I mean, this is just a facade, the good thing. The bad is all that is behind it. So it's like, the iceberg, and only the tip is showing on the surface of the water, but you don't see like the whole freaking iceberg under the water. You don't see the full picture at all. Or, just like in some old stories about the devil, how the devil is turning into a very enticing woman, but in reality that's not his real image, and he does something to manipulate and brainwash a particular person to get its way, and then that happens, and then they show their true nature, or they don't, they still are whatever you perceive them, if they want you to perceive them. So it's all about manipulation and giving you things that might seem good at the beginning, but then you know that they're just giving you those things so they can use you for something else. There's just, once again, they always win-win, and you always may win a bit, but you will lose a lot more of yourself. That's what they want. They just want total control. They don't care. They don't have this like sympathy or care or love for anything or anyone. All the Primarchs are for them just forces. I mean, obviously the not loyal Primarchs who I'm talking about. If it's up to them, they will have all the Primarchs working against the universe and the Emperor, of course. So yeah, but they don't care about them. Now, if the Emperor, I mean, does the Emperor care about them, like in a human kind of a way? That is questionable, because he's also using them to achieve his goals and to get his way and to get his power back and all of those things. So in one part he's depicted like he cares, like he does have a bit of a power dynamic, that father-son dynamic with them, and some of my light just turned off on its own. But in some others, it's just he is depicted like he does not have any love or care for them, which is kind of ridiculous. But it is what it is. I don't know why this lamp decided not to work, but you still see me. So guys, that's kind of like also another topic by its own. If the Emperor really cares about his sons. We were talking about this before, but yeah. Anyway, okay, continuing. So, are there no good guys? Let me come back to this, because I don't want this stream to be like 100 hours. It is a long topic though. I mean, everything in 40k is very, very deep, but I'm going to try to, keep it a bit more tight now. So, are there any good guys? Well, I'm going to say this in the simplest, in the simpler way. We discussed that there's pure evil in 40k. We discussed that there's another form of pure evil that just has a bit more sophisticated agendas, which is chaos. I mean, compared to the Tyranids, they do. And then we are discussing, actually, we are now getting into how the Imperium acts, how the Emperor acts. And we all know that he did atrocious things in his time. Things that, are extremely questionable and or totally, wrong, morally speaking. When he is hurting someone or something or nations or people in order to get his way again, to impose his will, to capture all the power that he possibly can. All of those things just because he thinks that he's the best for humanity, and so on and so forth. So he does have his own agenda, personal belief system, super huge ego, because he was proven to be wrong quite a few times, but he is still pushing the narrative that he is the best thing ever and all of that. But he did prove a lot of times that although maybe, yeah, he's better than Chaos, okay, I mean, he's not as worse as Chaos, he is still not perfect. He is making mistakes, he's still human, and all those things. But once again, is there then anyone good? Well, guys, I'm going to say something that I think is very obvious, but kind of like it is also something that people miss, and that is that there's a lot of virtue in some of the Astartes, some of the legions, some of the Primarchs, Sanguinius, Vulcan, Rebute, I mean, and all the loyalist Primarchs, they have true qualities that are true virtue qualities like honor, to be loyal, to be a man of your word, a lot of these things that are good qualities, like really good qualities. And they do things in a way that, well, basically it's like this, guys. When an Astarte goes and kills particular people because those people are in the way of something. There's certain story, one of the latest books. It was the Dark Imperium. I'm not sure if it was the last or the second book, but there was this particular case where some story just had to get rid of some regular people because they would attract, I'm not sure if it was by that point, the forces of Nurgle. So they had to make this very hard decision to put these people in harm's way. In this case, what they're doing to the people is really bad. It's not good, of course, but they're doing it because the greater good is at stake. So the greater good being that they will save more people and the planet and the whole operation, meaning they will give more chances to the whole operation to stop the forces of Nurgle. So this is like a necessary evil situation. There's a lot of nuances, guys, in good and evil in general. So if someone is like inherently good, I don't think that it's like that there is such a character exactly that's inherently good, because when the Primarchs serve the Emperor, they are committing some things, and some bad things. They are having some decisions that are questionable. They are making tough choices. They are making the wrong choices, like in the case of the lion in the latest book, The Son of the Forest. When he was consumed by rage, he attacked his own people, and some of them were not exactly, they were not fallen. They were still loyal. They just didn't know what the heck was happening. And he didn't care to double check on the whole situation. He was just consumed with rage, went and killed a bunch of innocent Astartes that were his own sons, and they were not a part of Luther's forces. and they just didn't know why their Primarch is killing them. So that is super sad, and we can call this a mistake, a very, very big, very sad, unfortunate mistake. And it does speaks about the lion's nature, that he is more prone to nourish his feelings instead of his reasoning sometimes, and judgment. And when he awakened, when he met this Astarte from his fallen legion, he then understood his huge mistake and how blind he was and how bad judge of character he can be. So in this case, he was consumed with rage. He was not okay. He was not in a good mindset. So he wasn't good in that moment. He just wasn't good. He was pretty bad. He was fighting. He was thinking that he is fighting all the bad traders, but in the midst of that, he was also killing his own good guys that have not betrayed him. So basically, guys, when we're talking about the good legions, the good Astartes, good people that are probably the soldiers from the Astra Militarum, there is a lot of good there. There's even good amongst the ogres who have honor, who help the people, and who actually protect, civilians as well. Sometimes you have the legion of the salamanders who really care about people, also protect people. And in this moment when the lion was in the forest, he wanted to protect the regular people, although he had this ego boost. He had this moment where he could make the difference between him and them, because he is huge, he is strong, he is powerful, and these people are so dirty, so negligible. But he still felt that it is right to protect those people because they cannot protect themselves and their lives matter. So you see, we cannot call all, like in the Bricky's video. I really like Bricky, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that it is fair or even objective to put everyone under the same umbrella, because there's a lot there that is also good. So in this situation, someone is good. In that situation, someone else is good or bad. It all depends. If Sanguinius goes crazy and he kills a bunch of people, which I think happened at one point, don't quote me on that, he is bad in that moment, but he is really good the rest of the time, He is just honorable member of the Imperium, one of the best freaking Primarchs, that wants to do the best for his planet, by the way, and his people. That was like number one priority for him when he first met the Emperor. He was like, I'm going to, join you, Dad, but I don't want my people hurt. I don't want my people to be, involved in this thing if it's like, if it's not in their benefit, if something bad will happen to them, no. So he was pretty clear about that. Apologies, guys, but my voice really needs to rest. It will not, because I have to finish this. But yeah. So I would say, to answer this question, that there are a lot of good guys in the Imperium, but they are misguided. And they could be misguided. You can't just go rogue. Well, you can, but if you want to fight against chaos because you are good in general inside, you have to pick a side, you have to help the Imperium. And that will make you not so good, because you probably have to do things that you're not proud of at some point or another to make tough decisions. Some war, if not any war in general, is like this. It just depends on the circumstances, really. But when you watch a documentary about any war and you understand that one side is bad and you understand the other side is good, like in World War II, you understand why the German side is bad, because you know, their leader wanted to do this and that and this, and he did, and it was horrible. You understand that opposing his will on everyone is not good. It is against human rights, it is against everyone's will and desires, wishes to live free, all of those things. So you understand, and that's not good. You know, that is not good for sure. It's not. And then you see the other side that those atrocities, 100%, all the other countries that fought against them did some atrocities at some point, somewhere. But you understand overall they're the good guys because they're fighting to destroy this evil. But they are not all inherently good, and they will not all make the best decisions. They will not be all good decisions throughout. Just not. We, in general, how we are made from the two forces, good and evil. In general, we have both, and which side we decide to nurture will define us in the end. But until we get to that end, we can make choices each and every day to push us towards the good or the bad side. You can look at things this way as well. But I think that we can safely say that basically the Imperium is not good. There's a lot of bad there. There's a lot of bad there for sure. There's a lot of good there, just as not as the bad. But some of the characters, the way that they carry themselves, the principles by which they live by, the principles that they live by, those are good. It's just that their principles, their values, their virtues sometimes are used against innocence or against others that are just in the way, and that by itself is not good. So it depends on the situation, but you cannot say, for example, that Gilliman is evil because he's not taking he's not making choices for the most part that will determine him as evil. He is even a lot of times objective about certain things when it comes to the emperor. He's not crucifying people if they say something against the emperor, if he thinks that their point about the emperor is fair. Like one woman that spoke against the emperor in the Dark Imperium books. He was not about to destroy this woman or punish her even, because he understands, he has a reason, he's not just emotion, he's not just like crazy person, you know. He has some wisdom, he understands that yes, you know, my father is not perfect, he made some mistakes along the way, I made some mistakes along the way, all of that, he understands. So he's not fanatical about that. He has reasoning. I mean, oh my gosh, reasoning, you know, what is that? Sometimes you feel like in a lot of fantasy, not only 40k, reasoning is like off the window and people are just emotions and nothing else. But anyway, that's another question, another matter. So we have, guys, I would consider Gilliman to be good because, well, overall, he has proven to be that. And sometimes he could make the wrong decisions, but that will not make him bad, because whatever he is doing, he's not doing with the malicious, evil intent. He does not have the need for suffering, to cause suffering to others. He does not have, he doesn't feel any pleasure from doing bad things. He just wants to do the best and save the day as much as possible, just to do the Emperor's will as much as possible. And he is fighting forces that are a lot worse than the Emperor, like the Tyranids now, or like the forces of his freaking brother before this. The forces of Mortarion, who was sent by Nurgle, all of that. So to me, he's a good guy in a very bad universe, and he just does his best, whatever he thinks is best. By the position, the position that he is put in, governing the Imperium, that's huge load on his shoulders. Sanguinius as well. He's not alive, but Sanguinius He's also a very virtuous, good guy. He's amazing. Vulcan also, he is fair. He tries to do, he tried to do what he tried to do. In the End and the Dev Volume 1, we had more time with him and we saw how he spoke to John Grammaticus. He's not also crazy, like, oh, off with his head. He listened, he spoke, he tried to be fair in that situation. He was smart, he was kind of cunning there. Interesting lines. Rogaldorn as well. He has so much strength to be able to withstand the fact that he was put in like another freaking world somewhere for who knows how many years to remain sane and to keep his strength and to keep his composure, just to to keep himself joining freaking Korn, sorry. So yeah, also some of the Astartes are absolutely amazing. They're amazing guys that do act like good guys. The fact that they're fighting for someone that's not inherently good does not make them bad. Just once again, they are good by themselves, although not inherently good. They choose to nurture very good qualities, and they do have some care and honor for themselves, their brothers, their individuals, and of course the emperor. So they are what they are supposed to be, and they are good as much as possible that they are good, of course, in the world that they're in. And look at this guy once again. What was his name from the latest book, Son of the Force? Which I gotta continue and cover it for you guys. But yeah, Azrael. Sorry, his name escapes me now. But he's lost Astarte that lost his Primarch. He thought that his Primarch turned against him. Was lost in the warp for like thousands of years and emerged just 400 years ago. And here he is on an unknown planet, or just on a planet, not even his planet, and he's protecting the regular folk. He is protecting the people. You see, that's a good guy. That is a good guy. He has all the qualities. Just put him in a situation and he is gonna prove that. And he did. So we cannot say just like that there's no good guys in the 40k, because just things are not black and white. They have a lot of nuances, shades of gray, if you will. And they do. So are there no good guys? No, there are some good guys in the 40k. That is it. And you can actually apply this to a lot of other fictional characters that sometimes have to do hard choices that are not inherently good, but they are necessary. And eventually everyone has their destiny and their way, and sometimes even if they did bad things, if they choose to do the good thing or the right thing at the end, they would be good, and maybe the bad things that they did will build them up to the person that they are supposed to be in the future, that person is good, and that person is better because of the things that he did that were not so good. So if they learn from their mistakes and the not good deeds that they have done, they can become a lot better. So yeah, from evil sometimes grows good. That's sometimes what happens. But unfortunately, you do have to go through the evil first. Not every time, it just depends on the situation. That is it. Pretty much the point is, it depends, and everything matters. Context matters. Context matters the most, and we just can't put labels, a direct like, that's not like this, and this is not like that, this is black and white. We just can't put black and white labels on things, because just not objective. We have to look at all the angles of the table and see, well, everything that we can. 360 look. Yeah, 360 look at things. Okay. Hey to Lubai Gully. Sorry if I butcher your name. He was a horrible father, excellent conqueror. Yeah, he was a horrible dad for the most part. There was amazing conversation between him and Sanguinius in the end and the death, and you can get a bit more of a feeling. But yeah, he is distant as well. He is like, hey, father, there's this concern here that we have to speak of. The emperor. Sun and earthquake. Sun. Do not go there. Oh, no. Sorry. More like this. Do not go there. Okay. I really gotta rest my voice. I cannot. It's very late, guys. Ivy says, this is true. Countless of billions in the universe. So there is more to it than... more to it other than Amp, his sons, and high fiving Marines, etc. And the likes of Hamburger Cake Baker #1 Chief Narco. Yeah, definitely. And you know, Nurgle, he gives you like infinite life, but as what? As a pile of shit, basically. You are a pile of shit that is just alive, but it eats itself, it smells, it's horrible, and you are disgusting all the time. So yeah, life, he's the god of life, and like things developing, he's the god of decaying, and if you are developing something, it's going to be fungus on your fungus. So that's for short. So that is it, guys. Love ya. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully we can gather together with Keith for an awesome stream tomorrow. If not, I'm going to figure out whatever I can do. There's always something. And if you like to support me, links down below to Patreon, PayPal, OnlyFans, where I do all of my coaching, meaningful sex educational content, life coaching, fitness, health, nutrition, my own physique updates, personal ASMR, relationship advice, and more. Love ya, guys. Love ya. My Astartes. Of course, you can join the Golden Astartes Discord group for free and discuss or suggest videos there as well.